Hey, Don, can't hear you, Don.
Can't hear me. Now, oh my
Now
God.
I can.
Now we got it. All right. So good evening, New Jersey. And if you saw my lips move, I guess for those who are lip reading in the audience, I guess there we go. Would help if I had the microphone on. So again, good evening, New Jersey. We're here on a Sunday nighter for you at 8:33 Eastern Standard Time. We're here to check out some changing weather conditions for probably a good, half of our viewing audience that are normally in the New Jersey tri-state area. Let's bring in the boys there. Now let's give the introduction to the G-Man coming in from Hampton Inn in Voorhees. Beautiful Voorhees, New Jersey. Certainly not the Caribbean or wherever the hell you were the last time, right?
Exactly. Bahamas, exactly.
Bahamas, that's
the casino, right?
Exactly. Far cry from the Bahamas. Then we got RVO there coming all the way in from the 516. There he is, bud. Good to see you in the Hawaiian shirt. We love to see that. Football just finished up, and granted for the Jets and Giants have finished like about September. But anyway, we're on YouTube. We're on the G-Man's Facebook page. Comment section will open up here. Got a nice little crowd here already in the first couple minutes. Yeah, it helps me have the microphone on so you can hear you.
Audio is the sound.
So let's get to some of this weather right away here. Let's just jump right into it. Rich, I'm going to bring up your slides, and you guys can kind of take it from there. Definitely changing patterns here. It's 28 degrees here in northern Middlesex County. So hey, look, it's January, right? I mean, it's supposed to be cold.
Yeah. We're finally getting into the last couple of years, we've snow lovers have been really kind of like shortchanged is the best word for that. This La Nina, weak La Nina has been taken over, but it seems to be kind of releasing a bit, right, James? Looks like it's starting to get more towards what winter's supposed to be now across the Northeast, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, it was kind of weak to begin with. So it kind of can go either way, and that being sort of a global pattern driver, So, we're seeing sort of the wintry side, and the cold air is in place. So we're starting to see the pattern evolve, as we like to say, the trend is your friend. So it looks like January is cold, and with the cold air in place, you get some precip and boom. Snow lovers rejoice. We're going to get some storms.
Yeah. Finally, a good table setter. Yeah, it looks like finally we're setting the table for opportunities to get some real wintry weather. And I tell you, places that haven't seen anything the last couple of years, Richmond, D.C., Baltimore, Atlantic City, parts of Delaware are going to get shovelable snow in the next 12, 24 hours. How about that?
Well, speaking of that, our governor here in Jersey declared a state of emergency for a few of our southern counties. So that's up as we speak. So, it's going to be busy. I'll be back at NBC 10 tomorrow in Philly. We've got full-on team coverage. We have the whole team in. Our buddy Justin will be in Storm Ranger, so he's going to be in Glassboro. So, South Jersey is really going to get hammered. It's really kind of South Jersey. I mean, Cape May could end up with 8-10 inches of snow.
Yep.
Are you seeing
maps coming up? Yeah.
You seeing anything right now, G? Where you are outside?
No.
You drove in? No, nothing yet, right?
No, I'm looking out the window right now. No, it's
okay.
It's good,
So let's do this. Comments are coming up here. So let's get in let's run through the maps and stuff. And I also, as I told Rich before we got started for you join G, I brought up some of the DOT cameras, some like Indiana, Ohio, whatever, and some of these cameras, it's really, it's coming down a pretty good clip. So, Rich, I'm going to bring in your maps now. Remember, like and subscribe to us here on the YouTube channel. Go ahead, guys. There you go.
All right, I'll start it out here, Jimmy G, and you and I can kind of go back and forth and, kind of opine on what we are seeing here on the models. So, again, early January, like you said. By the way, first of all, I just want to start off here. I had a birthday last week on Friday, and, family went out, had a good time here, of course, having some fun times, and we almost burnt the place down. You ever see anything like this, a sparkler in the Sunday like this?
Yeah.
I have one of those winter birthdays. I have to have some fun here. I can't get out and have fun, go out in my shorts and do some swimming. So we're indoors having all sorts of shenanigans here. So it was a blast.
Lots of shenanigans.
Cool. And how old are you? 45 again, right?
45 again, yeah.
Nice.
Next year I'm eligible for the 55 and older community, so I'll be invading those territories next year.
Look out.
All right.
Look out.
All right. So let's run it through. Yeah, I know. Heads up, everybody. The world's coming to an end now. You thought the drones were bad. Wait till I show up. All right. Here's the deal. Now you see Jersey kind of sliced down the middle. It looks like here. It looks like south of Trenton. You got those winter weather advisories, and then the kind of that pink area there, that magenta south of Philly. That's the winter storm warnings, and this is where we're really talking about the biggest impacts. And Jimmy G, talk about Maryland, south areas in the belt. When's the last time we had this, Jimmy G?
This is probably going to be the biggest snow event for Baltimore in at least the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So I think the jackpot is really probably from Baltimore, a little further north, Baltimore, perhaps in towards like Elkins, Maryland. Elkins is right on the Maryland Delaware border. They're going to get hammered, southern Delaware, even Lewis and close to the Delaware beaches. I think have a good shot at, pretty significant snow as well.
Yeah. My daughter goes to college over there at UD in Newark, and she's not there now. She's home, but I told her, I said, hey, you're going to be getting some pretty good snow over there at your apartment there. But where is it right now? Now you can see it's a pretty good job by the Weather Service carving out some of the white and the blue. There's the latest radar satellite. You can see the west to east movement right there. So it's kind of what we're dealing with. Pretty robust and pretty decent storm right here. You can see all the blow up of some of the clouds and the precipitation. I tell you, Jimmy G, this is like back in meteorology 101 with the comma shaped cloud. Look at that. You can't beat that right there. What do you see there all throughout that storm there?
Plenty of vorticity, plenty of spin, plenty of everything. It just looks healthy. It just looks textbook.
Yep, and you got a whole barrage of weather, potpourri, as we say. They got the snow from Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, getting into Pennsylvania, West Virginia, a little south of there, the wintry mix, that crazy ice. I know Don had some cameras there, lots of accidents, spin-outs, crazy stuff traveling through there. And even you got some severe weather, showers and thunderstorms. Again, Mississippi, Alabama, getting into parts of Louisiana. You got the whole charade there. And I tell you, we're going to start to see this snow. I guess we'll time it out. Looks like probably by – I think the first flakes there, Jimmy G, looks like this is the 3 kilometer NAM here, the high resolution one. Looks like coming through, just getting into northern Delaware and southwest corner. It's like Camden, Gloucester County down there by 4 a.m., right?
Yeah, down in Salem County, Gloucester, Cape May County, 4 o'clock. I think it's probably, in Trenton probably at 5, and that's pretty spot on. I've been saying all along, I don't think we see a heck of a lot south of, heck of a lot around 195, around the center of the state, by 6 a.m. Right around 6 a.m. I think we start to see things get going. So yeah, we get those first flakes down in South Jersey, 4 o'clock or so, just in time for the morning shows and that sort of thing, and then it spreads northward.
Right. It looks like mid to late morning, I think, if anything, when it's really snowing, after 8, 9, 10 a.m., probably just at the peak, end of that morning rush hour. And even towards northern New Jersey, Morristown, up towards Pompton Lakes, maybe Bergen County, they start to get into some of this light snow. I think the real meat of this, though, is the Trenton area, New Brunswick, Sayreville, and down to points south towards Neptune City and towards the coast, right?
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot north of 80, to be honest with you. I don't see a whole lot in the Poconos. I don't see a whole lot in the Lehigh Valley. I don't see a whole lot in extreme north, especially northwest Jersey. Maybe some of it kind of tilts into Bergen County a little bit, towards Tenafly and Cresskill and Mahwah and Ridgewood. But this is not a snowstorm for northwest Jersey or for the Lehigh Valley or for the Poconos. North of 80, this is not for you. And really north of 78, it's really not for you. But, you get into central Jersey. And even in my county, in Monmouth County, we're not even under a winter weather advisory. So that, those start Ocean County and really south. So I know Philly has no school tomorrow. School has been canceled. Governor Murphy in Jersey has declared a state of emergency for those southern counties under the winter storm warning. And then, north of there, you get into a couple counties that have, winter weather advisories. And that's it. So if you're in North Jersey tomorrow, particularly northwest Jersey, and, you don't get a whole lot, don't be upset. This is not a storm for you. This is really more of a southern slider. This is, a storm for Philly, a storm for Baltimore and DC, and depending on the track, maybe into northern and, perhaps as far south as Richmond.
Yeah, so those darker colors definitely, as you say, in Jimmy G, down towards the Philly area, points south. That's the core. It's been pretty consistent with that too, and I think all areas start to kind of like see the stuff begin to taper off here as I go forward. Around towards dinner time, looks like 6, 7
Mhm.
p.m. We should see things start to move out, and I think we'll be okay there. Weather Service kind of sticking with most of their numbers here, and that makes sense with what you're saying there. You notice on the
Mhm.
Mount Holly numbers there. Does that make sense to you, Jimmy G?
Totally. I mean, I think that's pretty spot on. I think, Philly, you're probably, Delaware County, kind of south of Philly, you're looking at probably 4 inches. Philly in Center City, maybe 3, perhaps pushing 4. You get a little further north up towards Central Jersey, 2 to 3. So I think that's pretty spot on. You get north of 80 and, you'll be fishing. I mean, it's going to be a pretty decent cutoff.
Yeah, even
So-
look at central southern Delaware, 8 to 12s down there from Dover and down
Mhm.
south. So I mean that Rehoboth, I guess
Wilmington.
they're going to get pretty good. Yeah, so this is the map I kind of made
Middletown.
here, just to kind of. I mean, it seems like that's pretty much a good range right there. I
Yeah.
think, like you said, most areas north of Morristown probably just doing maybe an inch at best there, and then that 1 to 3 kind of swath across the central states, and then that 3 to 6, maybe higher amounts as you get south of Philly. So it's a pretty good shot there, for southern areas.
Definitely. So if you haven't started that snowblower or you haven't done anything, you're definitely going to need it down there. And likely a snow day for the kids down in Salem County, Gloucester County, Cape May County, portions of Atlantic County, no doubt. Maybe even Southern Ocean. You get way down in South Ocean County, towards perhaps Waretown, perhaps no school tomorrow for them. We'll see. Certainly at least a delayed opening. But this is the first. Last winter was so lame, and I feel like the last couple of winters were pretty lame. So
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to see that, when was the last time Cape May, Wildwood, Stone Harbor, Avalon got shellacked with almost a half a foot to
Right.
a foot. I mean,
Right.
it's got to be quite some time since that happened, and honestly, Cape May, it's kind of
Right.
like one way in, one way out, Cape May Point, down that way. So
Mhm, mhm.
that's, it's a tough
Yeah.
place, even when there's no snow.
I forgot what winter it was. Rich might remember better than me, where we had several of these events where it was so like South Jersey, Baltimore, DC oriented, where
Right.
some of them, AC was getting drilled, Cape May getting drilled, and Morristown had nothing. The
Mhm.
cutoff was sharp.
Mhm.
And I can't remember what year it was, but
I think it was before the pandemic. Then I think
it definitely
pre-pandemic
was
we had
before.
some.
It was definitely pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Going back a few years there.
yeah.
But, interesting. Like I say,
Yeah.
it's just cool. Interesting to see all of a sudden the shock to the system here
Yeah.
of this
Let's-
big change. Yeah.
Let's leave that map up, Rich, for a second. Let me bring in some of the comments. We got quite a few here. So Sherry says, hello, gentlemen. Anna's coming in from Homedale. She's wanted to
Nice.
shovel. So what does Homedale look like? 116 on the Parkway, that area, probably just maybe
2
an
inches,
inch,
maybe.
2 inches. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe enough just to shovel off the sidewalk or something like that.
Or maybe she's got a really strong leaf blower. She
blower.
might get away with it. Yeah.
There you go.
And
Now,
it's
you
going to
know
be a light, powdery snow.
That's what I was going to say, because like I said, it's 28 degrees and it's going to be, I don't think it'll be anything more than 30 or so.
No,
Good evening,
it's-
Howell. My son was hoping for a good snowstorm, but this doesn't look like the one for our area, I should say.
not for
Alexandra, yeah. Good evening, East Rutherford, traveling to Bridgewater tomorrow for work.
Fine.
Should
Yeah,
be
not
fine,
bad.
depending on the timing.
Yeah.
Could be a little
Dusting to an
messy,
inch, yeah,
a
something
little sloppy.
It's still Jersey, so it's never fine. But
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's right. Yeah. Exactly. That's
Right.
a good one. Let's see. Gloria says Justin has his snow ruler. I'm sure he probably
does
will
have
be
it.
out there.
He does have it, yeah, from his time at NBC in Boston. So he's got his little Boston snow
Yeah.
ruler with him. Yeah.
And you can watch NBC 10 streaming on Roku, on the website, whatever. So you can catch these boys tomorrow. Bernadette
just a word-
Gillen, hello from Howell. Yeah.
Yeah, well, just a word on that. When we're not doing live shows tomorrow, we will be streaming otherwise. So, so you can catch us streaming and or live on TV on NBC 10 tomorrow. So we've got you
Great.
covered. Yeah.
We got Richie coming in from Myrtle Beach. Richie, good to see you. I'm sure you. I don't know whether you've got the Corvette, the top down for this go around down there, but Myrtle Beach probably not as warm as it is.
No, it's been cold down there. I got family down there. They've been complaining. Cold stuff down there.
Yeah,
Chilly. Yeah.
I got a feeling it's going to get a little colder even as we go through the next
Yeah.
week or so. Kimberly says hi from Hillsboro. Said we're not getting snow. Well, Hillsboro, you may
Might
get.
an inch. Might get an inch.
Yeah, it's kind of like on that line there.
Yeah.
So, but all right, Rich, you have some more maps, or are we coming back to us?
Oh yeah, we got part 2 of this. We got plenty to
part
talk
2.
about. Oh, we got a lot of fun. All right.
Oh boy. All right.
So listen, this is just the beginning of the fun here as we have entered 2025.
Just the appetizer.
Yeah, you got it. After a wild end to 2024. Remember the thunderstorms we had New Year's Eve night? That was crazy.
True, yeah, that was wild.
Now we switch gears and get into winter here. So let's go forward and see what we got going on here.
All
right. After this storm moves by, we're gonna keep this idea of just like cold, and cold. I mean, another windy. I looked at the maps and some of the numbers here. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's gusty, it's cold. You got temperatures, upper 20s, low to mid 30s, and wind chills in the teens all day. So if you got that heavy coat, the hat, the gloves, everything you need to stay warm, you're going to need it the entire week. There's no reprieve here, James. It's going to be just cold week. So,
I know.
Yeah, but this is what we talked about, setting the table here. After we get through this little snow, well, again, southern Jersey, it's pretty big, but most of the rest of the state, it's just a light snow event. You'll have about 4 days to kind of wait and watch, because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be generally quiet and cold. Then we have to look, again, there's a lot of chatter now, Don and James, on social media about Saturday and the weekend.
Yeah.
So this is what I did, James. I'll let you talk a little bit here. This was the earlier midday 12Z, which the updates come out every 6 hours a day, the runs. There's 2 main runs, the 12Z and 0Z. These are the ones we trust the most. Now, this one from this morning, midday, was the 12Z, James. And a lot of people were saying, right, this is just, see the storm there when we circled there? This one didn't look like it was going to be bombastic or major. It was an out to sea kind of idea going south and nothing too big, right? So, we hopped on it doesn't look too great right now. This is, again, for Saturday night into early Sunday. And then we get what's called these intermediate runs. You may see these all over social media, the 18Z, James. And this is where all the weather aficionados
the happy hour run.
So I tell you what, why don't you talk a little bit about this, James, about model run to model run and how this was so different. You can see it here as it comes up the coast. Watch.
Yeah. So sometimes we refer to the 18Z run or the 06Z run as the happy hour runs, very different solutions. So there you're looking at the the 18Z run, and that is a very different solution than what we had at 12Z.
Exactly.
And I'm assuming we're at same model, right? Same model.
Yep, both PFS.
Yep. So, and you can see that is certainly a big snowstorm for New Jersey. The prior run kind of pushed it to the south. The storm wasn't as deep. It wasn't as big. So there were some pretty significant differences. On this particular run, it doesn't go out to sea until it hammers Jersey, hammers Long Island, and then pushes out to sea. But again, those intermediate runs, in our experience, and Rich, I think you'd agree with me here, they're just not as accurate.
Right. I think they're more fantasy based, right? But a lot of times the problem is, what I've been telling Don the last few times, is that back in the day, James, meteorologists, a lot of this stuff wasn't available to the public online. They weren't able to access all these wonderful, public's, weather sites, but now they can. And when they're looking at these things, and by the way, they do a great job with the depiction. It looks really nice on the maps.
Right.
But the problem is to understand, like you and I just talked about, the modeling, which every 6 hours can change, and in this case, change dramatically. You got to be cognizant of what the trend is and what the consistency factor is. And like you just said, James, you hit it perfectly. 6 hours earlier, it showed nothing much. And all of a sudden, 6 hours later, we have a raging blizzard of 2 to 3 feet of snow. Exactly. That's a dramatic change in 6 hours. And something you got to be kind of like, take with a grain of salt, right?
For sure. So, but the GFS is certainly hinting at something. So, whether it be, the more believable 12Z run or, kind of this fantasy land happy hour run at 18Z, regardless, it looks like it's latching on to something, and we have a high potential of seeing something. Now, whether it goes out to sea, whether it's some sort of combination of the two, look, we definitely have the cold air in place. So if the track is right, then it could certainly be a pretty significant snowstorm.
Right. And again, back to the 12Z here, you can see the difference here, right? Nothing much
the 12Z
there.
Still brings us some snow. It's just not a bombing, nor'easter off our coast.
Right. Well, the track is different too, and that's what you look at from run to run, the differences here. And you know what? There's going to be another one, like I said, every 6 hours. So one comes in very shortly with the next few hours. and there'll be one. Then we'll talk about that, and then another one comes in tomorrow. And we just play this game day to day, right? We've been doing this for so many years throughout our careers, James, where it's just this game of what's next,
Right.
what's next, what's next.
Exactly.
And and what you really want to do as a meteorologist is find the consistency in trends. And this is just one model too. Obviously, we have the Euro to look at. We do this, with hurricanes and tropical systems. So, and also too, one thing I want to, just mention, Don, is that, what's today? Today's Sunday. We're talking about a Saturday storm. That's what, Monday.
Still
Tuesday,
6 days
Wednesday,
away.
Thursday, we're 6 days away. And I want to show you something pretty cool also too, James. I want to read this to everybody. Bill Corbell, one of my former colleagues over, he's just awesome. Very old school meteorologist, been doing it, been there. And one of the best depictions, NOAA came out with this wonderful thing from Kansas City called the Plinko reality. Okay. If you ever watched The Price is Right in Plinko, Don,
sure.
This is probably the best way to describe how, we see these maps now, which we didn't see like 30, 40 years ago. Now we see them, 8, 9, 10, in some cases, 15 days out. And I just want to read from top to bottom the reality of long-range forecasts and why detailed forecasts are not reliable long ranges in advance. And James, I'll let you opine on this a bit. You think, okay, so you start at the top there. You think of a model trying to simulate a pachinko game, or a plinko in this case, okay? The model knows where to put the ball. It gets all the data that we have, right, James? The balloons go up, all the data, and it goes there. And that's the starting point. It also knows the general layout of the board or predictability based upon the equations that are there. So it knows where it needs to go. Now, the bottom has the predicted amounts. The right side is the days. But there are many paths the ball could take. Each step depends on where the ball goes beforehand. It's called unpredictability. And if you look at the arrows there in the middle, James, things change, right? And we've seen this a lot, right?
100%. So yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, and I like this too. And I said, and I'll keep going. I'll let you know, and we'll get back into the other stuff. But even though there's many possible paths, the model only gives you one of them, which is a deterministic solution. In other words, it's not seeing all the things that could happen between point A and point Z, And the closer the ball gets to the bottom, the fewer possible paths. So the forecast confidence increases. So what I'm saying, and what you and I know, James, and agree, once we get within like day 3, then we've got a little less probability of there being dramatic changes that can be done from the top, right?
Right. Once we get within that window, the kind of routes and the kind of, alternate solutions become so much less. And we start to lock in on one or maybe two paths that are very, very similar. So the deterministic solution holds more water because the ways that the forecast can go wrong have been limited in that time frame.
Right. And again, and at the bottom, there's a wide range of potential outcomes at the bottom, and one small deviation can make a big difference, which is the sensitivity. And we've seen this happen, James. I can't tell you how many times we've been within 2 days of a storm, and we're going, case in point, the March 5th, 2001 bust of the century. We had, we were going 1 to 2 feet of snow 24 hours before, and we ended up with an inch of sleet. It was just really crazy. So.
Yeah, that wasn't the storm. I forgot what was the storm. I tweeted something, when the forecast definitely busted, that ended up in the New York Post. It was a roundup of different Mets that, and my hashtag was like my bad. Yeah. And I was like, oh, great. The Post picked it up and printed it, So I forgot what storm that was, but it was definitely a lot. And basically, I think it was supposed to be a honking nor'easter, and the phasing never really happened very well. So we still got a storm, but it was not nearly as strong and as significant as it was supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. So here's my depiction. I made a little bit more of a cartoon-friendly kind of thing. And again, the more days out you are, the more things can change. Now, ultimately, you'd love to have that white arrow where there's not much change between 10 days. That's the dream, where things don't change drastically. But the green and the blue arrows, look how things can deviate throughout that mid-period, throughout days 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right. And even the day 2, you could get a change where it looks like it's heading in one direction, but then it veers because the models change. So, the small errors can affect the result, but the improvements there within 3 days, but things can still change. But it just drives me crazy. I think you too, James, when we start seeing these, storms, like I mentioned to Don, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days out, and we're already putting, they're putting snow maps and mounts and already screaming like it's going to be the blizzard of the century when so many things can change. So I think that's a lesson here.
Right. And when you and I started, model data wasn't really as good as it is, or at least as available, and certainly not as online as it is. So we actually had to learn how to forecast from other variables. We learned how to become meteorologists, not modelologists.
Exactly.
Not regurgitating, models and just putting them on the internet and being like, oh, now some of the weenies have gotten better by putting, this is not a forecast or whatever. But as I like to say, maybe tell younger meteorologists, once the genie is out of the bottle, once you show 12 inches of snow or 14, you can't put it back in.
Right.
So the viewer has that ingrained in their head. So once you let that out, it doesn't go back. So you just have to be really smart and cognizant and prudent, and just diligent about not kind of causing a stir and not putting out crap that may, or more than likely may not happen.
Yeah, you got to be smart about the communication. Like right now, I would tell everybody who was asking me, there's a big, there's something there on the radar for Saturday and Saturday night. When? But right now, there's a lot of things that could change between now and then. But you know what? Keep checking in this week. We'll update you. We'll have a better handle probably towards the middle of the week around Wednesday and Thursday.
Exactly.
The other thing, guys, is that what gets me, and I think I sent this to you guys earlier from what they were saying, on YouTube or whatever, these YouTubers and this and that, I mean, they really just pump up this stuff just to get people to click or whatever. And it's annoying. And, honestly, the New York Post had something. I like, come on. I mean,
there's so many things that can happen,
it's like, but the thing is that people believe this stuff. That's part of the issue. So you're basically putting, dare I say, fake news. That's kind of what you're putting out there until you get a better handle as far as what's going to happen. And as all three of us know, with our former businesses, or the G is still playing in the sandbox a little bit more than we are right now, but snow sells. I mean, it does. It's just like it bleeds, it leads. Well, snow, definitely is cash cow too. So, obviously, tomorrow for where you are, it's obviously warranted, 100%, because it's going to be just a absolute mess, roads and whatnot. But, I don't know. Anyway, it's 9:00 exactly here. Those folks are on James's Facebook page. Keep jumping in here. I want to see some more people up there, and especially on the YouTube channel. Please post up the comments or where you're coming in from. Oh, we got two of the best in the business here. We're going to get you through our weather for tomorrow. Guys, before you do that, I'm going to bring in my screen just to kind of change it up here just for a second real quick. So this is from Ohio. This is Pataskala, Ohio, just east of Columbus. And if you're in the Pataskala, it's just east of Columbus. The reason why I bring this up, because there is one YouTube channel I watch religiously. It's Rick Corvette Conti and the Corvettes at Coghlan Chevrolet. So if you're in that area, go in and say hello to Rick. Real good stuff. But I mean, just it's a dusting kind of a deal on the grassier surfaces. So now I'm going to switch on over towards Indiana now, which, beknownst to me, I didn't realize that this was even possible or how they're doing this. But if you click on this, they actually will bring up the cameras that are actually on the snow plows. How ingenious is that? That's pretty cool. I got to give them that.
You'll never find that in Jersey.
No, or New York City. Forget that. Let's see. Here's a traffic camera. It is, right? Cool. I never thought that was even possible. But I mean, look at all these snow plows that are out there right now. I mean, this is just, they're all over the place. Obviously, they're going to need it. So
we got to call Phil, tell him up his game.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We know snowplow cameras. That'll be a talking point. But trying to find traffic. I had one here. Oh, here you go. So wherever this is, I-74, wherever the hell that is, that's in Indiana. So it's coming down fairly decently. There's Louisville. That's Kentucky, but I-64.
Cincinnati area there, right in the tri-state area there.
Maybe you can see here. That's got to be at least an inch or two on the ground. I mean, if they're out there plowing, you got to have at least 3 inches. So, but now let's switch over to Kentucky real fast, and let's see what the scene is here. I didn't preview these cameras before, so I don't know what we're up against. So this is right on the border, but it kind of seems like it's right in that like belt. I mean, nobody's getting. I mean, that's a tough ride right there. So it's kind of that east-west corridor, right, guys?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just sliding right across. Yeah,
sliding straight across the country. It's not.
They're right in that swath. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what. Yeah, good job by the Weather Service here. They had that swath painted out perfectly with the warnings up there, and I think the governors and all the officials, they had state of emergencies up and got everybody ready. So I think this wasn't a surprise. This was ready, and that's good to see that they're taking it seriously.
Sure, and that's good forecasting too. I mean, this is what you guys do. I mean, that's there.
Several inches right there.
Yeah,
that's a good shot right there.
That's several inches. That's at least 6.
So, I mean, I'm sure probably in the mountains of like West Virginia, whatever, they're going to get shellacked probably, right? It's probably
definitely shellacked.
A foot or more or somewhere around there.
Probably foot or more. Yeah, they're getting it pretty good. It's a good swath. It's one of the biggest storms of snows that we've seen in, like I said, quite some time here across east of the Mississippi. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So again, for our area here,
depends where you are. I mean, when we say our area, I mean if you're north of 195, you get very little. South of there, the amounts start to grow exponentially as you get further south. So you get down in towards, Ocean County and south, you might get 3 to 4 inches. You get all the way down into South Jersey, and we're talking about 5 to 6 to maybe 8 inches in spots. So it really kind of depends. But if you're north of the Driscoll Bridge, you've got like 1 inch to 2, and if you're north of 80, you might not see anything north of 80.
Yeah. It's kind of that annoyance type snow, I would imagine, right? Just for anything north of the Driscoll Bridge. It's going to be a fairly sharp cutoff. Is that right? I mean, kind of like, parts of Old Bridge will get 1 inch, but then you come down towards, Freehold and you may have 4.
No. I mean, Old Bridge will have 1. Freehold then would have 2.
Yeah,
2.5. Yeah. You're not going to get 4 until you get into,
Ocean County,
baby. Yeah, deep 609.
Yeah, deep 609. Sounds like a new group, Deep 609.
Yeah, it's kind of like an upside down storm. Normally, the northern areas get hammered. Wantage, Highland, up towards Mount Olive and Sussex, but this one, the southern area is getting hit. So, and then northern it's an upside down snowstorm, but it's pretty big though, pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll spin it over to here to where you're headed, G. Less than 8 hours from now. So, I mean, this is just in the Philadelphia area, and there's nothing going on now. So
no. So Delaware County, Delaware County is sort of southwest of the city. So I mean, they'll get a little more in what we call Delco than they will in Philly, and up towards Bucks and Berks, up towards the Lehigh Valley will get a little less as compared to, if you're at Philly and south. So
right. Did you see any brining or any of that stuff on the road on your way in?
I mean, I didn't notice it a whole lot on the turnpike, to be honest with you. Right. But I did notice it, around my house, zipping around today.
Yeah. Yep.
I was doing a little shopping earlier, so I was, looking for a new Hawaiian shirt for you and Rich. So,
there we go. Nice job, buddy.
I'm digging this one, but thanks for that. I appreciate it.
With the home goods along Route 34 or something. Or what?
Exactly. It was Rich's birthday, so gotta hook him up.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. I'm just trying to warm up. I'm trying to feel tropical here. I hate the winter. I like it warmer, but it's this is all cool though. You know what? You need a little snow. It's January. I always say if you're gonna get your winter weather, let's get it now. January, February. Let's not get it in March and April.
Right.
Get it over with. Let's get it now. It's the time. And
well, I mean, you get into March and that snow becomes like wet cement.
It's nasty.
It's just sloppy. It's just disgusting.
Plus, by then, if you've had a pretty busy, active winter, you're over.
You're tired of it.
You're like, come
exactly.
on. Let's put an end to winter, and let me see some flowers blooming and longer days and that sort of thing.
The other thing too is that we set the clocks ahead that much earlier than we were kids. I mean, we didn't do it until the end of April. Now it's the second Sunday in March. So it's a bit of a different story going into St. Patrick's Day, and you're already staying dark out until 6:30, 6:15, something like that. Whatever. So I mean, you're wanting to end. So that's kind of the unofficial end of winter is the time change.
Yeah. So I did notice today I was outside putting the garbage out. It was 4:52 and it was not dark yet. I mean, officially, I'm sure the sun, right around that time, but I just started to notice today the slightly longer days. Like it's not pitch black at 4:30, So
we got Ron.
right.
Yeah, go ahead, Jake.
No, that's it. I was just saying step in the right direction. But yeah, you got Ron there.
Yeah, we got Ronnie here for asking about Woodbridge. What is your prognostication there?
Inch to maybe 2.
Okay. We got Tito Jackson here. Good evening. Thanks for what you do. Cool. There's the map. You see it on the screen. Tito says, I'm glad not to be on the road this week. So that's always good news for you. My good friend Anna here. Thank you for a pragmatic perspective about the weather. I stopped watching this one weather channel on YouTube because it always seemed like the sky was falling with every forecast.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Prophet of doom. Prophet of doom.
Prophet of doom. POD. Is exactly what it is. POD, man. The POD. Look out. Snowplow cameras are great, aren't they? I never realized that was even like a possibility. That would be really cool. Loving the few extra minutes every day. Yep.
Yeah. So all the money we spend in Jersey, taxes, just the expense of living here. You would think we can get. If they can do it in Indiana, we could do it here.
This is true. If there's a will, there's a way, but there has to be the will because there definitely is a way. We know there's a way. We just showed you. So, doing the snowplow camera Route 80 would be cool. So,
all right. If you like, Don, I could show you the rest of what's happening in terms of January because someone asked how long is this going to last. I got a cool map here. I love this one. This is the jet stream, Jimmy G, that goes up to the heights and and it's a nice depiction here. When you see the blue in the east kind of lingering around there. This is from January 7th right through about the 20th, long range. We of course we take it with a little grain of salt, but the upper air tends to be, more of a generalization of the trend and what we're seeing. And what you look here for is, the blue, and look at them keep coming on down. We got ones that come down throughout, next weekend, the week after that. And there's just plenty to go around in terms of the cold air to probably last throughout at least the middle to maybe even the end of January. And, that just gives you more opportunities to get some wintry weather. And, not necessarily every storm's going to hit, with big snow like we talked about. But look at the cold again, redeveloping there towards the middle of the month, Jimmy G. That's some good stuff, right?
Yeah, I guess it's good if you like it. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean, though. It's a nice little solid trough digging out here on the East Coast, allowing that cold air to fill in. And the West, man, if you're in the West, enjoying the warmth under that ridge, look at that Arctic air. Yikes.
Yeah. It just keeps coming. Yeah. It's like a clown car. It just, it just keeps happening.
A clown car.
They just,
in a Yugo.
Yeah, no doubt. So, you saw a period in there for a few days where the flow looked a little more zonal, a little more temperate, but you do see those swings of Arctic air pushing in invading, pushing down on the East Coast.
Yeah, and certainly the Climate Prediction Center just updated today. Just came out, new one, and they are going below normal for the middle of the month there to continue that across most of the East Coast. Look at the southeastern states. Like we said, poor Carolinas. We talked about Myrtle Beach. I know I got family down there. They are just saying, "What's going on? It's like winter. It's cold down here."
Yeah,
and they've got it again. Yeah,
cold to them was like 40. We throw a party for 40 at this point. This is when you start seeing
it's all relative.
Well, this is when you start seeing like the iguanas falling out of the trees and like northern Florida.
You might. This is a pretty prolonged period of cold air coming in. But what you do notice too on this long range, Don, is that you're in that yellow with precipitation. You're not getting a lot of big rain or big storms. You've had this for many months here with the drought situation that we had going back to the fall, and it looks like it's despite all the cold in there, we're not really getting into the storminess. So maybe that's going to be the trend here over the next several weeks. And they didn't really update the seasonal yet. Maybe they'll get a little update on this, James, pretty soon. Last time was December 19th. I think maybe they'll update this shortly and see what they say for the rest of the winter. They're still going above normal with that week La Nina, but overall, though, I think we certainly got a cold pattern coming in. But have a great week and stay warm, and then get back to us here, Don. I think we're going to be.
I guess if you want, honestly, at least the way I look at it is, if you want it to snow, or snow lover, this is the kind of snow you want, like you said, G, with a leaf blower over. I mean, it gets the hell out of the way really quick. It's that wet cement type stuff is the Widowmakers and all the other
cardiac snow.
Yeah, I mean, that is just brutal stuff. I mean, this is the light, fluffy stuff. This is the fun snow. The rest of it is just sucks. I mean, it's a tough deal. I mean, who wants to deal with that? I mean, maybe the snow, the ski places like in Vernon and all that kind of thing. But
they're missing out on this. Same thing with the Poconos. So
I know.
Jack Frost, Shawnee, Mountain Creek. I mean,
I guess we'll have to see how it sets up for next weekend because looking at that stuff there, then we could all be shellacked. But with the temperatures the way they are, we could all be getting into the action a little bit.
Yeah, depending on the trend, to watch.
It's like anything else in the winter. You stay abreast. You keep in touch. Winter is a time to always be checking in.
Mm-hmm.
Don't buy everything you see 5, 6, 7 days out as gospel. But when you start to get within that, James, 72, 48 hours, 2 or 3 days, then you got to start thinking, all right, you know what? Get that snowblower checked. Make sure the shovels work. Make sure my car's okay. Make sure my relatives, if I had plans or things to do or travel, think about an alternative idea if it really looks like it's going to be pretty imminent, regardless of whether it's a foot of snow or 6 inches or 2 feet. I always say, don't be scared. Be prepared. That's
got to be diligent. Just be smart. And take a little. Take some extra precautions, and it'll take a little while longer. But just make sure you kind of go through your progressions and make sure that your ducks are in a row and your kind of winter weather mantra is you get your mojo flowing and you're checking all the boxes.
So Janine is saying the food stores are ridiculous today in Whiting, and that's in Southern Ocean County. So maybe a little warranted there, but you're telling me that the ShopRite of up in Passaic or whatever, Ringwood was busy. Then that's just a busy Sunday. It's not anything related to weather, but first of all, she says, thanks guys. Thanks for coming on. Stay safe. Same to you, Janine. But it's like how many times, your head's going to spin after a while. Like, how many times do we have to tell people that you can't really get an accurate forecast up until the 3-day mark or less than 72 hours? And these idiots on YouTube and all this other BS, they put all this stuff out there. The sky is falling, blizzard, or some of these other media weather, they always put these graphics that say, 25 million people in the affected zone. Oh, come on. Really? Of course it is, because it's half the United States. Look, they're there to make money, and maybe one day we'll make money when we're in the senior rest home, the three of us or whatever, on this little podcast that's still going on. But
exactly.
I know. It's just crazy when you've done it long enough, like Jimmy and I. How many years, James, you and I combined here with weather experience on, in the industry? What, 30 at least? probably 60 plus, right here.
Right.
So we've seen it all going back to the 80s, 90s, and certainly with them. It's so crazy when you've seen the events as a meteorologist, Don, and you swear this is going to happen, and it doesn't happen that way. It's like. You learn a lot from seeing all these events, and you have to keep doing it and understanding what went wrong, what was not right, and what could happen. And I think that's why, we know to wait. We're smart enough to know, wait, let's not go nuts. Wait until about, maybe late Tuesday night and Wednesday to start saying, all right, now we got something here. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly.
Well, we're in this whole Amazon type mindset that we want it now. We want it yesterday, like Veruca Salt. I want it now, and you can't get it right now. You want you got to kind of just hang out a little bit, to see what it's going to materialize. So
I want it now.
That's what it is. Totally. Yeah. And I want a new computer now too.
Bots told me we're going to get 2 feet.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And then they blame the weather guys. It's Jesus. There's only so much you can do. If you.
Yeah, but model hugging, like I said, constantly every day with your finger on the button. Oh, a new model came in. Oh, a new one came in, and we jump to that. It's like you're just like racing back and forth. It's like a Disney World to all the rides.
Exactly.
It's like relax. It's like it's going to eventually find its middle road and find where it has to go. It's very rare not that it doesn't happen, to get like the storm of the century. I mean, and look, we had a good one back in 2022. That was the last real good one, late January. It's been a while, so we are due for one. But will this be that one? And you don't want to be like, we know 8 days in advance. Let's just wait and see how things evolve.
Well, everyone wants to go to DEFCON 5. It's like, Jesus.
So along those lines, Rich, I mean, remember when Sandy, we started looking at the early model runs coming in from Sandy, and all of us were like, no way, that's not going to happen. No way. It's not going to retrograde. It's not going to push back towards the coast. That's impossible. That's not going to happen. So like 10 days out, and then 9 days out, and then 8 days out. And then finally, by a week, maybe, we were all collectively like, holy crap, this is going to happen. Model guidance has been unwavering on this. But the first couple of days and the first few runs, just to see that such an anomaly of a solution that we were like, no way. And sure enough, we all know what happened.
Yeah. And another big problem too, I want to mention, Don, this is a great point. I've made this before. The problem with the media in general, what's involved in our industry, in our business, and certainly online with social media, is that when you hype everything, the real thing becomes washed out. What really, it gets lost. Like James just said, we'd had a lot of storms before Sandy, and I was warning a lot of people, this is going to be the big one. Oh, we've heard it before, that this is going to be big. They don't take it as seriously when it is really a big one. It's the Chicken Little effect. You're hyping every little storm. But then when you have a real one that we know this is a big deal, you kind of go, it's just like every other one that didn't do too much. And that's a bad thing.
Right.
Because you gotta disseminate between the really significant, impacting, dangerous ones from the ones that look dangerous but are being hyped up and end up being not too much. And to know the difference, the public, they really need to understand in communication from the meteorologists and the news media responsibly what the difference is. And that unfortunately has been a big problem for us over the years. I've had many people say, it's not going to be that bad. I said, this is going to be bad. You always say it's going to be bad. It's never that bad. And all of a sudden it's bad and we have a disaster.
Well, and and some of that kind of filters over to my side of the aisle in the traffic lane, right, for doing this 20 plus years or whatever. First of all, we had, years ago, the Pulaski Skyway, it's Carmageddon, and then also the bullshit or whatever, like the whole state was going to shut down because the Skyway was shut down. It didn't do anything. Didn't do a damn thing. Then there was other projects, the same thing, guaranteed. You're going to hear it on the news tonight, congested pricing. Tomorrow's the first day of the rush hour after the holidays. The George Washington Bridge, it's probably going to be 3 hours, whatever. It's not going to be 3 hours. It's not going to be 2 hours unless there's an accident. People are still going to drive into Manhattan and they're just going to pay the tab. That's the bottom line. People are not, if your office is in Lower Manhattan, you are not diverting all the way to the George Washington Bridge. It's going to cost you another hour probably in time just to do that, to come all the way back down or park the car and do all that stuff. It's cheaper just to pay the $6 because you're going to get a $3 credit on the tunnels. That's just what it's going to be. It's not going to be this Carmageddon stuff and whatever.
Carmageddon.
I mean, they come up with all kinds of stupid stuff. It's going to be business as normal tomorrow. I'd be shocked to see if the Holland Tunnel or the George Washington Bridge, was like 2+ hours, and the other and like the Lincoln and Holland are like 15 minutes. Because would you sit in the George Washington Bridge for 2 hours if it's going to cost you another $6 and you could get into Midtown Manhattan in 10 minutes?
No way.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned to me, Don, interesting point with the congestion pricing too. It's like, if you're not taking your normal routes to avoid the fees, and are you parking in other areas of the city, like above, say, 60th Street, are they going to get like hammered all of a sudden?
That would be my concern. I mean, those folks who live like on the Upper West Side, past Columbus Circle and further up on Amsterdam, or like the Beacon Hotel and so forth. I mean, if you get there early enough, you just got to watch the street cleaning rules, depending on what day it is or whatever. But there's really no meters in some of those streets and some of those local neighborhoods, and you can leave the car there all day as long as there's not street cleaning. So those could potentially be even more.
Yeah, I'm not, dude. If that were me, I'm not doing that either. I mean, it's arduous enough to commute into New York, go to work, even if you have everything dialed, and then to go out of it's like, at what point do you just throw your hands up? Like, So I drive into Philly for NBC 10, and I have to say, the commute into Philly, miles wise from my house, is probably a little slightly further than if it was into New York.
Right.
But it is such a hassle-free, non-aggravating ride that it's easy. It's long, but it's easy. You know, and I literally park in a garage right across the street from my building. And it's easy. I mean, it's not cheap, but you know, so if I had to do all that rigmarole, whatever, unless I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'd be like, you know what, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
well, again, it just depends on what you're going in for. You know, I mean, real estate offices and stuff like that in Manhattan are like, 50% vacancy. I mean, this could start to shut some of those down as well, as, people start realizing, hey, did I get an increase in my salary equivalent to what my $9 a day is going to pay?
Right.
The answer is probably no, by a long shot. So now and even on this side too, you're probably going to see some jockeying for position, people trying to figure out better ways to park, to cut maybe the potential for delays with either New Jersey Transit or Path or whatever. I mean, some of those stations in northern Essex County, I'm not going to name a few, but I'll say Lyndhurst. No, but it is one. Lyndhurst, Delawana, those type places and things like that. That's free parking 24/7. So look, if that was my play, if I had to work in the lower Manhattan or whatever, and you're here in Jersey, let's say in Middlesex County, Union County, whatever, that's what I would do. If, cut it halfway. If you're in the car, go park for free, jump on the train, and you can go to Hoboken and grab the Path, and you're there in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
People are going to be creative. You'll see all the stories coming out, like you said, G, about people parking in some weird places. And, the people will find a loophole around somewhere. And you'll see that there probably is one street or two streets that don't have the markers. And all of a sudden you're going to have gridlock traffic as everyone trying to get into the zone off these two streets that they haven't put something up.
Exactly. Look who's joining us.
Yeah, there he is. You're the G-man. Hey guys.
What's up, Justin?
That's what he brought his ruler into the studio with him.
He says he wants snow. That's it. Yeah. So that's the Justin. That's the people were asking. You're going to have your ruler out there, and what's the vehicle that you're going to be in? What is he in?
He's going to be a Storm Ranger.
Storm Ranger.
So it's not just it's definitely not a lot of TV stations. I'm not gonna I can think of one particularly that does it, but we won't mention it.
Something I used to drive.
Exactly. that have sort of gimmicky storm vehicles. Cartoonish, shall we say? Storm Ranger is not that. Storm Ranger is a legit mobile Doppler radar that it's amazing. So it actually serves a really good purpose and is fantastic. So Justin's going to be out in Storm Ranger with our, it's basically like a pickup truck with a Doppler radar on the back, portable Doppler, which is super cool.
Let me hang on here. It's got its own website here. Let me bring it in. Give you guys some plug here. There it is. There's the Storm Ranger.
Dude, that thing is badass.
Jeez, look at that thing, man. It looks like, wow. That looks like something right out of Twister.
I was going to say Twister. Yeah, it's Dorothy in the back there. Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Big Dodge Ram. Big, what is that? A V10 or something, or a diesel? Jesus.
Oh, it's a Hemi, bub.
Hemi, yeah. It's a Hemi, dude. Wow. Holy cow. Look at this thing. That's some serious. Awesome. That's some serious firepower, bro. Look at that.
Oh yeah. We come to play, dude. We're not.
See that? Yeah. So on the back of this thing, this is a full radar.
That's a Doppler radar in the back. Mm-hmm.
Jeez, what's the radiation coming off of that for you boys?
Well, you start seeing Justin glowing lately.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Wow.
All right.
Jeez, that thing is going to get you through anything. Wow.
Exactly. So it gives us the opportunity to talk about remote sensing, talking about getting into spots where, perhaps, a little bit of a radar void or things of that, where perhaps sometimes the data is not great. We can get in there and basically grab our own data.
That's fantastic. Wow. One of a kind vehicle, live high-powered Doppler radar. Jesus. Wow. And I'm assuming it's like a full studio on the inside, like camera wise, setup, that kind of thing.
No, I don't think so. I think
More just for the radar and stuff.
Exactly. It's more just for the radar. Yeah. Justin's going to be outside. Twister Mobile. Yeah. He'll be outside, but we could run everything, run our computers, run our Maxes, Rich, off an iPad too. So, I'm not sure if Justin will actually be running shows off the iPad when he's out there, or mostly he'll be, kind of detailing and showing radar from Storm Ranger and that sort of thing.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's cool. With these, it's cool. You can go to the snow. You go where it's big, and like I said, you can see the differences across the state. It'll be a good situation to do that too, because you'll be seeing the differences north to south, and that'll be kind of a nice touch there too.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in Glassboro, I think. So which is in the bottom of the state, South Jersey. Yeah. So it'd be really cool.
Well, I'm assuming that Storm Ranger has cameras like our friends at the Indiana DOT and the snowplows.
If it doesn't, that's a great suggestion, man. We need to load that thing up with cameras and GoPros and different things,
Yeah, exactly. That'll be your contribution, G. There you go, bud.
Exactly.
This storm is not my friend. Too far south suppression. Better get some good ratios. I guess that's weather talk that
the trend is your friend.
The eagle has landed and the fat man sings along or something, or what?
Well, I also think that he's referring to too that he's not going to get much snow at his house, and also a Monmouth County guy. So
location.
Yep, that's true. Wow, well, good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's kind of wrap it up here in the next couple of minutes. So let's kind of run it down again. Rich, do you have that snow map, just the totals there we could bring up just to let everybody know?
Oh, sure. We can do that. We can do that for you right there.
And,
okay.
G, I'm going to put up your sponsor here. Give me a second,
yeah.
And then I'll do mine and then let everybody know where they can find you tomorrow. Even if it's on the digital side, just so everybody knows what.
Yeah, on both sides.
Yeah. So before I get to that, Rich, let's do this. Let's bring in his sponsor, Eastern Millworks. Where are the boys? There we go. Eastern Mill.
There we go. There you go. You had it for a second.
I did for a second. Hold on.
Taking it full. There we go.
It's 9:30. I'm usually 9:08. Oh God!
There we go.
There we
go. Architectural Millwork, the exterior division, siding, roofing, trimming out the homes of your dreams. Eastern Architectural Millwork, from pergolas to trellises to brackets and corbels, outdoor showers, all of those great outdoor things. Eastern Architectural Millwork can make it and install it for you.
Beautiful, just like a perfect pitchman. There we go. There we go. Travels with Darley Newman. Go to her website, darley-newman.com. Wonderful travel program on PBS Create, Amazon Prime, Wonder Woman Ovation TV's Journey. The new season is dropping now in certain markets. I know it was Albuquerque, New Mexico. I think parts of Missouri or maybe even Indiana, Cincinnati. So I guess it's going to make its way east here eventually, shortly. So definitely stay tuned to our webpage. Also go to our Instagram page and our Facebook page. That'll keep you updated as well for our New Jersey viewers, which were mostly that. A couple episodes here in New Jersey yet again, up in Passaic County. So it'll be exciting to see it by Greenwood Lake. Up that neck of the woods. West Milford is also involved in that as well. Beautiful country up that way. So definitely stay tuned for that. Again, it's Travels with Darley, and Darley's been with me since the beginning, and I'm going on, Jesus, I don't know, maybe 3 years or so with this, somewhere around there. I don't know. So she's been an awfully good sponsor and good friend here to myself and the show. So we thank her very much for sponsoring our broadcast. So let's bring in Rich, your map here. Let's bring that full screen. So guys, you want to just quickly run it down and kind of weather in a minute here before we head out?
Yep, one more shot. North is less, south is more, and that's basically the whole idea here. And by the way, Don, I'll be helping out our neighbors in Long Island tomorrow morning on Newsday TV. You can check them out online and on the web, Newsday TV. I'll be there tomorrow morning.
I think my subscription just renewed, and I didn't even know I had a subscription. I totally forgot about it.
How about that?
How about that? Yeah. So, all right. So we got the heavier totals to the south. So Nothing, not a whole lot of action there north of that Driscoll Bridge. So, G, let everybody know where you're coming in from tomorrow. How can people see you?
Yeah, so we got team coverage on NBC 10, starting with Bill at 4 a.m. tomorrow, Bill and Marvin, and then I'll be in, by 9, taking over for doing the 11, some midday cut-ins on the linear side, on the regular TV channel side. On the digital side, we'll be streaming really kind of throughout the event as well. So you can go to our website, NBC 10. And watch any streaming coverage there as well on digital, which would be fantastic. So you're never far away. You can watch it on your phone, whatever device you have. So no reason not to be dialed in tomorrow. We've got you covered.
Dialed in, the G-Man's favorite words. Dialed in and dial out.
I'm ready to dial out.
That's right, exactly. And then Justin's going to be in the Twister Mobile when?
He's going to be in Storm Ranger all day. Really? So
starting like midday or like 9 o'clock?
Yeah, starting, probably mid to late morning.
So just have people just go to the Roku channel or wherever they'll be able to find it up this way in North Jersey. But again, parts of your neck of the woods, Ocean, Monmouth, Mercer County, it's on cable. So
it's on cable, yeah. I get NBC 10 on 10. At home.
That's true.
So hopefully if you don't get it on 10, it's somewhere there in your channel lineup. And if not, you could always
stream it. Yeah,
online.
I know.
You could always stream it.
Google TV has it right on the homepage, I guess, because I've watched it a few times. So it kind of comes up on my favorites. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Or just get a pair of rabbit ears, man. If you're down there in Voorhees, man, or Jesselhurst, your favorite place.
Or Mount Laurel, baby.
That's it. Mount Laurel, right? Or Cape May in the snow day out there along forgot the promenade or whatever they go shopping. I don't know, it was Washington Avenue or something. I don't know.
Washington Avenue, Spring Lake. You've been spending too much time at Spring Lake.
No, right. No, you're right. That's Spring Lake. Yeah, and Cynthia at the bottle stop. We'll eventually get to you eventually. Sorry.
Exactly.
Big fan of you, G. So here's our wrong music. There we go. There we go. Now we got it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We had a pretty decent audience here this evening. That's Good Morning New Jersey on YouTube. Also, hit up James on his Facebook page. Same thing with mine. And we'll try to be maybe here on Tuesday morning, depending if he's working or whatever. We'll see what the aftermath of the storm leaves behind, and then the preview for possibly what's going on for the following weekend. So until then, have a good evening, New Jersey. Yes, my microphone is on.